Hello, I don't usually make videos, but 2025 was an incredible year of reading for me, and I want to share these treasures with you. I've been hitting a dry spell with reading. I've read two very boring books, so I'm hoping that you can share with me some of your favorite books, and I just had to share these top 5 books that I read in 2025. So, the first book I'm going to share with you is historical fiction, and historical fiction does tend to be my favorite genre, but 2025 I did really branch out and read some unique genres. Frozen River by Ariel Lahan is based on the real life of Martha Ballard. She's a midwife in Maine from the 1700s, and she delivered 800 babies and never lost a mother. Incredible. In fact, you can find the Martha Ballard journal that is also published if you wanted to dive deep into her life, which of course this book put me down that rabbit hole of researching her. But this book is historical fiction, so it read less like a memoir and more like a mystery. It's a whodunit. Someone dies in the very beginning, and I loved her perspective on childbirth, the resilience of women. And in fact, there's this one of my favorite parts. She talks about one particular year she delivered a lot of female babies, which of course back then male babies were preferred. And she saw this as a good omen. In fact, she said in all of her years in delivering babies, whenever she delivered more girls, that was a good thing because more male births meant war. She called them the cannon fodder of kings. So I found her perspective lovely, and I believe her. So this book is more than just historical fiction. It's just the strength of women in childbirth, and I just thought it was great, really great. Okay, this next book, hear me out, because it's bonkers, is Shark Heart by Emily Habak. Yes, it's about a young woman who is married to a man who is turning into a great white shark, and how they struggle to survive their marriage as he's transitioning. It's crazy. It's weird. But the writing is masterful. It's quirky. It's heartbreaking. You're really rooting for them to make it work. And it's just different than anything I've ever read. So I remember, my husband will tell you this, when I finished the book, I was in the airport and I was hugging the book when I finished it. I just loved it. So it's not for everyone, but if you're looking to take a leap, go for it. Give it a shot. Okay, back to historical fiction, Salt to Sea by Ruta Septis. This book leveled me. First off, it's about the Wilhelm Gustloff, which is the greatest maritime tragedy of all time during World War II, and I had no idea that this happened. Everyone hears about the Titanic. Y'all, 9,000 people died, civilians died on this ship. Incredible that we've never heard about it. And this book is beautifully written. It tells the perspective of 4 characters, and each chapter is like 1 to 2 pages long. I love books that have short chapters. Every word matters. One of the characters is a shoemaker, and he uses his craft as an allegory for life. This book is a tearjerker. It is beautifully written. And of course, it'll set you on a research path to look up the Wilhelm Gustloff. I'm a scuba diver, so I even was like, can I scuba dive the Wilhelm Gustloff? Of course you can't, because it's a massive graveyard. Besides, the Russian already dove the wreck and stole all the Nazi treasures, including the Amber Room, which I totally believe is true, and of course recovered the bodies. But anyways, incredible book. Okay, my second favorite book. Very hard to read. Educated by Tara Westover. This is a memoir, and it is 100% a true story. In fact, Tara was on Oprah talking about her story, and she's raised by a paranoid, controlling father who's a religious fanatic, and he doesn't believe in government. In fact, he doesn't believe in healthcare at all. He doesn't believe in medicine, even Tylenol. So there's this one part in the book where she's in school and she doesn't know what the word Holocaust is, and people make fun of her because she didn't go to school. The hard parts of this book is they do get injured because they grow up in a scrapyard, and there's lots of injuries and they're not treated. And that's just deeply disturbing, some of the things that Tara herself is put through. But at its core, this book is about someone who has to choose between her true love for her dysfunctional family and building a life for herself through education. And as someone who cares about education, I can't imagine having to make that choice. And she talks a lot about the price of freedom. So after I read this book, I found myself thinking about what she's been through and how grateful we should be for our education. So, incredible book. Okay, best book of all time in 2025, and probably the best book, one of the best books I've ever read. They're actually making a movie about it, of course, because everyone is saying it's the best book. And that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Yes, this is the same author who wrote The Martian, so if you've seen that movie, it's got that same science-y vein, but totally not boring. I am not a science person. I love literature, but all the science stuff, which is deeply scientific, it was important, but they did an incredible job at allowing non-scientific people to understand it. So what it's about. Ryland Grace, he's a cool middle school teacher who's on this ship and he loses his memory, so he's not sure why he's on the ship or what his mission is. Can he save humanity in time? Right? That's the whole book. I love this book so much that after I read it, I reread the Audible version, and I have to say the Audible version was even better. And here's why. There's lots of parts of the book where there's a character who talks in song. In fact, in the hardcover book, the hard version, there's like music notes throughout, and the Audible plays those as tones. So it just was adorable. It made me enjoy the book even more. Chef's kiss. I was completely hooked, masterfully written. The storytelling was superb, a great page turner. And I cannot wait to see the movie. I hope they do this book justice. So, have you read any of my top 5 books for 2025? Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite book, and please help me through my dry spell and recommend your favorite books. Happy reading.